Yes. Joseph Chow,
Present.
Ismat,
Here.
Alvin,
Present.
Catherine,
Present.
Shirley,
Present.
Bob,
Present.
John,
Present.
Shirley.
Present.
And I'm here as well. Okay, perfect. So first thing we need to do is last month we did not have quorum, so we need to vote on both the February and the March minutes. So if everyone could take a moment, we'll start with February and then we'll go to March.
Yeah.
I put Joe right next to you tonight. I told him.
I'm excited.
Special,
I've been a bad boy.
You've been a
it's gotta
bad
be
boy.
watched.
Wait,
Anybody
language,
want to make a motion for the February minutes?
language coordinating.
It should be, yeah.
It's all the favorite.
Second motion.
I'll pass it.
Catherine. Okay, and now we're gonna move on to the March minutes.
They can, sure.
Or you want to do it? Can you say that?
I can introduce something.
And then we have.
It's, I only have a handful of slots. You just intro
Okay.
slots. So.
Perfect. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the March minutes.
Second.
Who was that?
Bob.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Mike, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Sure. Sounds good. Good evening, everyone. Let me share my screen. Hey, did I X out my, Zoom? I might have. Second. Oh, no, I'm here. Okay. Good evening. So going to go through our superintendent's report for this month. Just some updates and reminders. We do have a couple of Civics for All presentations tonight. We have two students that are joining us that I'll introduce in a moment. Thanking them in advance for being here and sharing something that they were passionate about in their soapbox speeches. So thank you to our students for being here tonight to share a little bit about their passion and what they want to share with us tonight. So hello, spring. Spring is upon us. Hard to believe we are in the stretch run here. We're already in April. It's hard to believe that we're already in April, but we are. Spring came upon us March 20th, and we are sprinting towards the end. Happy belated Eid for all of our families that celebrate. We hope that you had a really nice holiday with family and friends. This is Paraprofessional Appreciation Day is today. So thank you to all of our paraprofessionals. It is a profession that my mom had for over 30 years in a school district out on Long Island. So paraprofessionals do have a very special place for me, as I know the work that my mother had done for a number of years to support children day in and day out. So thank you to all of our paras. We do appreciate the work that you do. It is also National Assistant Principals Week. That's coming up next week. So big thanks to all of our APs across the district, as well as Happy Administrative Professionals Day. I thank my team so much because I have to tell you, I am the worst when it comes to these things because I feel like there is always some kind of a day that I'm missing to celebrate someone, and they do all appreciate. They all do deserve the appreciation for the work that they do across our schools here in D25. So big shout out and thanks to them. We do have Passover coming up, so happy Passover to all of our families that will be celebrating Passover, as well as Easter is coming up as well. So big shout out to all of our families that are celebrating both of those holidays. Earth Day coming up, April 22nd. Lots of things happening in April, clearly. So good time to celebrate the earth and make sure that, you know, much like us in trying to build this idea of wellness, we do need to make sure that we're appreciating the planet that we're on, and keeping it good, clean, and healthy for generations moving forward. So April 22nd is Earth Day. Upcoming events, we have gone through a series of presentations from the district. We do have a few more that are coming up in May and June, which are connected to our final virtual math session that we will be hosting as we're building towards the end of the year and the mathematical shifts. We will have a final iReady session for any of our families that would like to get an understanding of how their children ended the year. For those that are having a hard time navigating the iReady platform, we will be making sure that we offer that again. This will be the third in the series. And then finally, the Acadians session for all of our families that have children in grades K through 2. We will do a final end year diagnostic session so our families have an idea of what it is, what the outcomes are for their children and what it means for them in terms of how do I keep your kids active over the summer as readers. Really very important that we're able to do so. Just some enrollment timelines. Offers were released already for high school, just to make sure in the event that someone does not or has not known about that. High school offers were released on March 6th. Wednesday, April 2nd, kindergarten and kindergarten G&T offers were released. That is today. Wednesday, April 9th, middle school offers will be released. That will be next week. April 24th, summer rising results and wait lists will be available on My School. So if you are a parent that did apply for summer rising, please make sure you're checking your My School's account for either the seat that has been made available to you, or if you have not been given a seat that you're on the wait list, make sure that you're checking for either of those things. Tuesday, May 13th is when we see pre-K offers released, and then Tuesday, May 20th is 3K offers will be released. Big shout out to 194 for hosting our family civics night, and a special thanks to Melinda Willens from our team. This was the first time that we engaged in such an event. New York City has developed what they call the Passport to Social Studies curriculum, which all of our schools utilize and engage in. And one of the supplemental pieces to this are a series of comic books that are directly related to civic education. That kids typically, if you ask students what type of book do they enjoy reading most, they typically say that they like graphic novels and they engage in graphic novels. This is a really, really nice way to connect your kids with some content, as well as driving home the importance around democracy and civic engagement, which you guys know is really important for me. And we have 2 students that are going to be here to talk a little bit about why it's important to them through their speeches. So big thanks to them and Principal Miller, AP Bryan, and AP Delalo for hosting us, along with the range of volunteers that were present. Wellness Day, I do want to make sure that I shout out Diana Stein and Wing Chung from our team, along with Austin Stout, who was our resident District 25 team member, but also was gracious enough to DJ the event for us that day. All of our CEC members for collaborating and participating in this event. We had over 30 plus vendors present to support our families with whether it was around nutrition, whether it was mental wellness, physical wellness. It was just a really, really nice day. The only thing that I ask for in the future for our families is making sure that if we're going to secure a ticket, that we come.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I ask for from our community, is that if we say we're going to go, and certainly there are things that come up. I know that they come up. It happens to me too, but
it's
just to ask folks with their best intent to try to make it, because we booked 350 tickets and maybe 100 families came. And that included many of our community members that brought their children. You know, so even absent that, it was fewer than what I had hoped. But the day itself was really, really amazing. Really, really well done. I can only hope the next time that we do it, we have more folks that contribute in the form of participating. So thank you to all of you guys. I know Grace, you did had a yoga
I have pictures
experience
of,
for
some assistant principals in the room with
you know,
her.
for us, so, and all the other vendors that did show up, it was really, really nice, including office school food. They had little salads, chickpea salads, regular salads, all things to promote healthy eating. And Common Point Queens for opening their doors to us, along with Principal Abbott and Principal Rosa for opening their school, making for a really nice experience. The 109th precinct was present. They had the crossing guards to make sure that everyone was there, good and safe, to enjoy the experience. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this then turns into what we're now trying to work on as a collective group, really promoting wellness across our district community. So I thank all of you guys for making it a really, really nice event for us. So this is becoming a common space of our CEC meetings in terms of my report. Project Soapbox, is something that we're promoting across District 25, which gives our kids an opportunity to do a little bit of research in an area that they value, and then offer their claim and stance on why it's important. And the intent of this is really to push and promote student voice, giving them an opportunity to show what it is that they know, and then create a call to action so that we can all learn from it. So we do have two presenters here today, both from PS 201. So I'm really excited that we have 201 here and present.
I love it.
We have Isla Hogan and Tristan Ruiz are here today. So thank you to both of them. And the first one, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of people eager to hear about snow days. I know that I am. Did I pronounce your name properly, Isla? Ayla. Ayla, please come on down and you get to share with us a little bit about your perspective on snow days and why we should be paying more attention to it.
My name is Ayla Hogan from the school PS 201, and I believe that a snow day should be when children do not have to go to school, and sometimes adults do not have to go to work because of the conditions. I believe we should enjoy that day by going outside, not by sitting in front of a computer. As a matter of fact, remote learning did not exist before COVID. Before 2020, kids just had snow days off, which was a great opportunity for students to observe the world around them. Imagine waking up on a beautiful, crisp, snowy day, putting on your coat and boots to go outside to play in the wonderful white snow. And then it hits you. You have to go to your online class. And while we're here, let's be honest. Online learning is a complete flop. You spend most of the day just trying to log on. A snow day is a gift of time to slow down and have a break from schedules and schoolwork for 24 hours. Part of being a child is getting to play, whether it's building a snowman, sledding, or having a good old snowball fight. It allows children to explore their imagination and creativity. In conclusion, we children learn more from the wonderful world around us. So New York City policymakers, let us experience a snow day without the pressures of schoolwork.
Love.
Thank you, Ayla. When I was your age, there were real snow days because we didn't even have computers yet. So I'm with you.
So Ayla, thank you so much for being here to share your perspective on snow days and why it's important to you. And I would gather if you polled the rest of your peers, I would guess you'd have a lot of them that would probably agree with you.
And parents.
And maybe even the so it's important that you're able to utilize that voice, get your voice out there, which you were able to do. And this in a public meeting, just so that you know, this is not just a meeting where you're here talking to just us. You have members from our district community that are here to hear what you have to say and your perspective. So I thank you so much for doing that. You were clear, and just so that everyone knows, we talk about this every month. It's about making sure that you're clear in how you're speaking. You did a great job of making sure that I heard what you had to say. You made eye contact with the audience, and you were very much aligned with your message. So I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you so much.
You should advocating for getting the.
Get-
That's what she's advocating.
No, okay.
Here you come.
And Tristan, welcome aboard, Tristan. Thank you for being here as well.
Good evening. I'm Tristan Ruiz from PS 201. You may be wondering why I'm here, so let me speak. Imagine a white room, nothing to see, nothing to do. How'd you feel? Honestly, with a show of hands. I've been stagnated by boredom before. Who hasn't? Creativity is lacking in schools. Everything now is strategies. The only way for scholars to have input on this is to tailor those strategies to their needs. Studies show that students have diverse ways of learning and expressing themselves. Think of the generation of today. I'm sure at least a few of you have heard that Generation Alpha is doomed, but maybe we just don't learn the way you do. I say, let us think outside the box. As a matter of fact, the most recent PISA results from 2015 for the United States placed an unimpressive 38th out of 71 countries in math and 24th in science. Something is missing, and you all know it. Why don't we have the most advanced education with our current standing? Kids are bored. Why else? Honestly, it's just a pity. So what, you may say, why should I care? Answer me this then. How does free will exist without creativity? Being able to develop strategies in the classroom with being able to develop new strategies with what students learn in the classroom as a starting point. The key to unlocking every child's potential. And I know this from experience. Stagnating creativity, not allowing one to express themselves, is the true restriction we allow oneself. Look, if district policymakers passed a rule that allowed students a bit more free rein in the classroom, albeit with restrictions, we could unlock untapped potential.
He's looking at you.
Sometimes it just takes one voice, one choice, one kid
Aw.
to change the many. How does this relate to you? I just need you to ask more questions. Do what is right for you and your children. Students, it's imperative that you ask those in charge to alter the policies so places can be made for your thoughts. If we don't stop this, we will create a dystopia where your grandkids will be trapped. Folks, look, in the end, I'm here to give you a reality check, to see through my eyes. This won't be your last wake-up call. Mark my words.
Amazing. So,
Tristan, thank you so much for sharing that. And what you just now earned is my email address. So that you can share with me what your perspectives are and how we can change that space of creativity to make it a little bit of a different place for you. So when you're talking about district policymakers, you just spoke to one. So, and your message was heard, and I think it's important that we do a really good job of listening. So thank you so much for sharing that with me. Should you make sure that Tristan has my information so he can email me about his ideas?
hold on. So also, just as a little thank you, for those of you that just presented and a sibling that we have here, we have something from our CEC that we're going to give to each of you guys. The girl in the back. That one, take that. If you wanted to help, you gotta help the right way.
Thank you.
Thank you so Thank you, okay? Thank you guys for coming. Oh, that's it. See?
So thank you guys for joining us tonight and for sharing your soapbox speeches and what your call to action is for all of us. I truly believe in the power of our students' voice. And to me, it's not just about you guys being able to speak here, which is why you're going to get my email address, is so that we're able to then extend beyond this. Because it's not just about being able to speak about it and get your voice out there. It's in how do we make things happen? And how do we make changes? And what children often don't realize is that sometimes your voices are louder than the adults in the room. And I don't know that you guys don't, if you realize that, Ayla and Tristan, but that is the truth. Is that when you guys use those voices, we wind up listening a great deal. So I'm glad you guys were here tonight to share your perspective. Thank you guys so much. So a couple of other things from me that I do want to share with you guys tonight. Is around something that is happening in district that I want you guys to be aware of. Our schools are engaging in what we call an ELA sprint. So this is for children, particularly that have been identified that are just below or just around being identified as proficient within the context of iReady. And if they were a fourth or fifth grader, where they also landed on the New York State assessment last year. So part of this work is really about just giving opportunity to get some additional supplemental support. This is not intended to take away from core instruction in the classroom. This is intended to be during maybe perhaps as a center opportunity, during a small group learning opportunity. Some of our schools have what they call focus periods or flex periods, but building in time and space where kids can engage in the use of iReady for 30 minutes to 50 minutes over the course of a week. Not a day. I want to make sure that's clear. Not a day, over the course of a week, where they're practicing on skills that are necessary to kind of be amped up as we close out this school year and prepare for what the New York State assessment is going to show for us. So some standards in particular that we're really paying attention to as well are standards R2, R3, and R4. And just to give you a little bit of context, that's about how the kids use key details in the text to really summarize what that text is all about. It's also around making sure they can compare and contrast characters in a text as well. And the last one, which ties into what I'm going to talk to you about in terms of next year, is around figurative language. That kids are able to decipher within a text when something doesn't necessarily, it doesn't kind of call right out to them because it's figurative in nature. Is harder at times for our children to get an understanding of what the meaning is of those phrases. So these three standards pretty much across grade levels. And the way that they kind of use the standards, they kind of build on one another across grades, kindergarten, all the way up through 8. You'll notice a little bit of a difference in the standards, but they're in general around the same kind of idea and concept. So as a district, we're really pushing opportunities for our kids to do so. We have a total of 3,922 children that live just under or above meeting standard, which is something that's really important for us to press forward on. And we have 2,768 6th through 8th graders that we're also doing this for across the district. So in the event that you have a child that is participating in this, I did want to make sure that everyone knew what it was about and what it means, because there have been some questions around, oh my goodness, are we doing this for 30 to 50 minutes a day? And it was concerning some families. So just to make sure everyone knows, it's for the week, 30 to 50 minutes, and it's not intended to interrupt their regular class schedule. Now, in terms of planning and setting the stage for next year, schools are going to start organizing their CEPs, their comprehensive education plans for next year. And something that I think is really important for us to continue to go. Say again? Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know why it looks so much smaller today.
You're on the wrong slide now.
Okay, there's a slideshow.
Sorry, I felt like I was going blind.
There we go. That's better. Still small, but.
It's a little better though.
So this is just a timeline, just for you guys to know. This is a general timeline for CEP submission, and right around now is the time that schools are starting to examine, how did the year go? What are things that we need to work on as we move into next year? Looking at our current patterns and trends. And the one trend that I think is really important for us to all be aware of and know. Here in the district, we have 6,600 English language learners, right? So we have, which is accounts for over 27%, almost 28% of our children speak languages other than English. Among that, we have almost 25% of them are entering, which means they just got here and very, very limited English. Another 20+% that are emerging, which are, they've grown a little bit past that first part. They probably have some basic language skills, but they're still not necessarily to a place where they are approaching that commanding space, which is where we want them to be. Transitioning, which means that they're now in a place where, they are speaking much differently, but they're not necessarily to a place where they are reading and writing with proficiency. And then expanding, similar type of nature. You'll see many of our kids are able to speak fluently in English, but still are struggling with comprehension of text. We have 56.5% of our L students are Asian, 40% of our L students are Hispanic. 18.7% of our L students have IEPs. 46% of those are in ICT, 41% are in special classes. 20% of our Ls are chronically absent. Really important part of this. 34% of our Hispanic students and 29% of the Hispanic students, 29% of the Asian students are ENL. That I think is a little bit of a mistake. I have to fix that one. And then lastly, 31.5% of IEP students are also Ls. Okay. So now why do I talk to you about that? Because there is a clear difference in terms of performance. So all students, we went over this earlier, but non-ENL students right now at the middle of the year, about 62.4% were currently on or above grade level. You can see the change in the overall number of kids that are currently multiple grade levels below shifts significantly. And we have most of our kids are either early on, above, or that one grade level below that we want to try to push towards by the end of the year to move out of. But then when we talk about our Ls, and this I did share with you guys, that we do have a significant percentage of our Ls that we need to continue to grow through. But they are also taking some of our assessments. And here's where they are currently falling when it comes to iReady performance. So we have many of them of our L learners that are performing at 3 grade levels below space, 2 grade levels below space, 1 grade level below space. Now, it's not as though this is not something that is subject to District 25. These are children that are still learning the English language. It's not as though they should all be, all of our L students should be performing on or above grade level, right? That's not a reality. But what I'm sharing this to you for is this. What I do see is progress with the work that we've been doing this year. So for our kindergarten through 2nd grade, when we're talking about some of the foundational skills, if you look on the screen, from last year's in the dark blue to this year in the lighter blue, we're seeing a significant number of more children that are currently meeting standard in some of the key foundational areas, i.e. First sound fluency, phoneme segmentation. That's really all about the phonemic awareness space. Nonsense word fluency, words correct versus correct letter sounds. You're seeing an improvement in this is just our Ls, this data, how our Ls have advanced when it comes to this. And then for iReady for children in grades 3 to 8, we're also seeing an increase in improvement of children that are now, their high frequency words are starting to improve, meaning there's a recognition of them, knowing what they are, as well as their ability to decode is improving. By mid-year, it was 15%. The hope is that we continue to grow through that as time goes on. So what it does say to me is that the work around decodables, the work around explicit instruction is starting to show itself as having an impact to this point of the year. clearly a lot more that we have to do to build our kids to grade level readers. But I'm encouraged by the progress that we're seeing there in these particular areas. But now what does it mean in terms of moving forward is for next year, what I would like to really prioritize is certainly staying consistent with explicit instruction and the use of decodables, but really emphasizing what does instruction really look like, sound like, and feel like for our English language learners inside of our classrooms. How are we going to continue to elevate the work inside of our rooms to build our kids as readers, as speakers, as listeners, and as writers? Those are the four modalities for our kids to be able to test out and be proficient in the English language. And those are areas that we do want to continue to emphasize as a district community, because aside from it being important, it's imperative for our kids. Most of the time when we get children into our school district that are in the 4th or 5th grade and are coming here for the first time, it's harder for our kids to learn the English language after that kindergarten, that 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old range, when English and the language comes more quickly to them as compared to a kid who's been here at 10, 11, 12 years old, now starting to learn those foundational spaces. So for us, this is a space that I believe is really, really important for us to emphasize as a district community moving forward. And I just wanted to share my initial thinking with you. When we get to May and June, I'll have a more prescribed set of goals that we are establishing. This is going through with our principals, kind of talking through it with them. What are we seeing? What are we learning? And how do we make our next steps? But the way that I see it, the consistent work around decodables is really important because it's helping build confidence and helping build our kids' ability to decode words. But now it's about how we making sure from the decoding to comprehension, which is not always the easiest leap. And that's where we need to go for our kids. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a heads up in terms of where I see us going as a district community moving forward. Okay. And lastly, just around this space on wellness, we talked about this briefly just earlier ago, but just for the community to know that District 25 and the CEC are working in collaboration with one another through a pilot process where we're going to really, for us, we decided on wellness as being the area that we're going to focus on. We'll be sending out a survey tomorrow to all of our families in our community to identify first and foremost what is our motto going to be around wellness, and then this committee, along with hopefully our students next month too, start piecing together the definition for what we want wellness to look like, sound like, and feel like in District 25. And more importantly, from there, start putting together some real clear and important action steps for what we want it to look like across our schools. So that concludes my report for today, unless there are any questions. If anyone has any questions.
Any
about what I
questions for
shared.
Dr. Mike? Anybody? Okay, thank you, Dr. Mike.
Pleasure.
So to start off my report, so you guys saw me give our students that were speaking today something. So we had ordered these in hopes of having them the day of the wellness event. They didn't come in time. We officially have water bottles, stress balls, and pens. And the students that were here today actually are the first ones to get them. So as we have students coming to meetings, we're going to try to make sure they get something, or other future events, we're going to be trying to give them out. But they came out really nice, so I wanted to make sure everyone got to see them tonight. Thanks to Egypt for bringing that down. And other than that, I don't have anything else right now. So I'm going to move to new business. Anybody have any new business?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks to Maribel, she set up a meeting between the translation people and myself. It wasn't a total waste of time because I saw through their actions, they don't want to change it. Okay, so I told them, you keep using the word traditional, that's very political, because the Chinese Chinese have characters and words. You write Chinese, right? You write Chinese, right? Can you read? Oh, still there. So can you read simplified characters? There we go. There we go. Great. So they said that they're gonna keep calling the traditional, even though the character says complicated style of letters. So let it go, right? She said they've been doing the traditional for 20 years. I came this close saying, the last time somebody told me that, my response was, aren't you glad somebody is telling you how to do correctly? Right, but because she said at the meeting, I didn't want to get. So I didn't say anything. So the, am I right? I'm okay. So I don't know your relationship with them. So anyway, someone suggested that I go to Dr. Mike and ask him to do, there's a language coordinator in the building, do a survey and see if the Chinese parents rather have complicated or simplified or both. Right? Now, the problem with that is what language are you going to use to do the survey?
Good question.
Right? There may be a few hundred characters that are simplified. Most people who can read, write, complicated can figure out what it is by the context. Whereas people from China, some of them are not educated. They finish 8th grade or 9th grade. They look at it and I ask them, they just trash it in the paper. Waste paper basket. So I don't know. Okay, so she said we will change if the need is there. Me speaking to her did not represent the need. Right? I also said that in my building, we always translate it into simplified because most parents are from China. Right? There's 14 billion Chinese or 1.1 billion Chinese. She didn't. She said, I'm not doing anything until until there's proof. Like, okay, and then she
They want
said,
data.
on the blue card,
Make a change, yeah.
on the blue card, it asks, okay, first of all, on the blue card, they think Cantonese is a language. Cantonese is not a language. On the blue card, it does not ask them if you want communication from us using complicated or simplified. It does not ask. Suppose they ask, the people who don't know how to read the complicated, wouldn't be able to fill that out anyway.
So that's something I can certainly bring back to the team to see how we can get something perhaps translated in just the small space of which do they value, because it's not a lot of words that will have to be translated for that to get perspective from families.
I really, at this point, I'm just trying to figure out a way to get to the parents so more of them will be participating. Because you sent me
Why'd you send it out in bulk?
he just said space limitation could be an issue. Yeah, I did say that too, right? I did say both. She just ignored me.
I think what Dr. Mike's putting is kind of like what they're asking for, right? They're saying this is the data they have. And then what your concern is that when they're filling out this group form, they're not specifying traditional or simplified because they don't know that they should, right?
Right.
And then Dr. Mike can say maybe, working with the district team on how to speak to the language access coordinators, make sure they're communicating with these families in a way that they understand and that they're answering traditional or simplified. If you get that data and share it with Ola.
Right.
It's there, right?
She did not say. You were partially correct. She said we asked for what language or what form they want on the blue card. So right away I told her, no, you don't.
So
What I can do, Joe, though, is if it's a question around how many folks would appreciate it in one format or another, we can at least get perspective and say, of the 24,000 families that we have here in District 25, this is the volume of folks that are saying that they really need to have translation and simplified. It carries a much different space of weight when I can even bring that back and say, I have X number of families that really do need this.
I want to show you something. Yeah, you go ahead.
So
But that's something we can send out. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you obviously one way or another what it says in simplified or what have you. So I wouldn't know one way or the other, but
this
Hold on.
came up at our SLT meeting
Hold on.
for,
Okay, this
So,
is
Joe.
art. Complicated. And this is art. Simplified. Okay, I'll take pictures. I went to a visit, is it 163, 164 with the bilingual school? I asked the assistant, because I saw the word art on the door, art room, right? So I asked the assistant principal whether they use complicated or simplified. He said complicated. I looked
so
at it.
something that came up from the SLT at the school that I am a part of is that we were concerned about the different languages and what was going out and were parents getting it in the languages they needed. And something that was actually shared back by the technology teacher, who also does a lot of these distributions for us, is that most of the parents who need to translate these items have something on their phone and they're gonna put it in and be like, hey, translate that for me. Or read it out to me in my language. So I get where like some people might need it, but there also is people that are taking that next step to do it themselves on their devices.
So I mean, I think there are a lot of things that we could consider because, there will be families that unfortunately are not literate in regardless of language that we're presenting it to. And they're not necessarily going to be able to capture the meaning of said survey, regardless of what character you include in the document. And that was actually learned, as part of a parent meeting that I had at one of our schools, where the parents were also talking about how do we build more opportunities for engagement. And one of the things that they did learn, and they also have a similar WeChat approach that you use, Joe, is that families weren't responding because they weren't able to read the messages that were present in it either. So before they even did anything, became kind of, I'm not even going to look at that, was the feedback that they received. So I do think that there's an opportunity for us to gather some of that information. And if we have thousands upon thousands of people that are saying that they need it in a certain format, then that can be shared, to the translation
That'd be
unit for
very
them to
nice.
make a change.
Yeah, look at this. This is the art in the old form, right?
Mhm.
This is the art in the simpler form.
Yeah, no, I
You
saw
saw
that.
it,
I saw
right?
the difference. Yeah, I saw the
But
difference.
anyway, I don't mind being like turned down. But for someone who doesn't understand the Chinese language, it tells me they're not doing anything and not changing, because we've been doing it for the past 20 years. Really?
So, but that's what I mean. I can bring back. That I can bring back with some data that says here are the number of people that need that.
Well, good
That's
luck
not a
getting
problem.
them. I'm gonna go into the WeChat groups of schools to let them know there'll be a survey. Please fill it out.
Yeah.
Make your presence.
And I can send you the survey so that you can look
Yeah,
at it
yeah, that'd be nice.
beforehand, so that
Yeah. Thank you.
what looks great for me, you might be like, dude, that doesn't make any sense. So
Okay.
that we can do.
Any other new business? Anyone else has? I don't know if you mentioned it, but it's also World Autism Day today,
Yes.
Oh, yes, it is. I
Yes.
did not.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
which is why I have the shirt
Yes,
on.
it is. Yeah.
So for all those children, I wanted to kind of make sure we recognize that as
absolutely.
well.
Yep.
If there's no other new business, I'm gonna move on to public speaking. Is there anybody that would like to speak? If you're on Zoom, just raise your hand so we know if you would like to speak.
To take that.
Yeah, I,
Okay, button.
Yes, I do. I actually did.
yeah, fine, go ahead.
Is there a place?
Stand up.
So, last night I came across an article in Chalkbeat, which does a lot of education reporting, and it talked about the class size law that we have in place. And, it went through actually a very thorough process in terms of the challenges that are gonna be faced by our entire school system, and certainly 25 is one of the districts that have class sizes that are larger than what will be mandated. So, there are a lot of moving parts of this plan, and I guess to speak directly to District 25, do we have a idea of what the gaps are, where we're going to move to, and what is the teacher hiring that will be needed? Because that's really what we're faced with. There's the financial aspect, let's put that aside. But really, there's been teacher shortages in certainly a number of subjects as you get above sixth grade, lower level. And what is the plan for us for the classrooms that will need the additional teachers? So we're supposed to be compliant 60% by September of this year. So we're talking about less than 6 months away.
We were actually just talking about this a little while ago, because I was asking if there's been feedback from what the school has to submit.
Have submitted.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to get back to my school submitted as well. And we have not heard. They say that they are supposed to be getting back to us within the next few days. To see that that's really the budget aspect of things, right? And then the schools, the principals are gonna have the burden of now making the hires that we need. For my school, we're hoping to get 10. And then we have, as many schools, teachers retiring, attrition for all sorts of reasons.
And system-wide, we, New York City schools typically have to hire 5,000 to 7,000 just normal year,
Attrition.
and they're,
Mhm.
exactly. And they are expecting with the mandated class size that we have to hire 7,000 to 9,000. And I would say that in a district like us, we are in probably the top quartile of districts that have this need, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know that necessarily that.
That's my.
Yeah, that we have the volume being in the top of needs. Many of our schools actually right now can be just fine and don't have to add one person. You know, because their class sizes are already very small to begin with. In fact, those are schools that haven't even had to apply because their class sizes are already below the threshold.
So 25 is good,
So-
26 is the problem, I know one.
So no, I don't think that anything is necessarily could be classified as good. You know, so, but what I'm saying is that we do have a number of schools that are already meeting that threshold requirement.
Right, 40%.
We have,
Obviously.
we have 20 plus schools that have already applied. You know, we'll know more about what that looks like in terms of overall personnel. Once those applications come back as either approved or not, I can't give you that. But what that will detail is how many people we actually do need here in the district. So part of our work is engaging in, you know, the space of hiring fairs. February and September are the windows when certifications are posted and available for any new folks that are available. And then there's also time and space within the open market system for folks to be able to then move into other locations and apply for vacancies that are available
They
within
talked about
the
that.
district as well.
That there are gonna be
You know,
teachers
so-
moving from, I guess, less in demand districts to districts that are, I guess, a little easier. So that's gonna be the shuffle. I guess as a parent speaking, my concern is the quality and how the teachers will be trained before they are put in front of our children, and given the shortage, given a lot of moving parts. It is concerning to me that, you know, they're talking about, you know, kind of fast track expedited training. Paraprofessionals, great, to celebrate them, but, you know, moving into a certified teaching role. So as a parent, representing other parents, you know, here, you know, we are concerned about, filling those spots with truly, teachers that are trained.
So the only thing that I would say is that, you know, 27, 28 years ago, I was a new teacher too. And I had an opportunity to learn and grow in my craft, as will all of the other teachers
I
that
know,
come
but you
through it.
say this and I'll tell you this. I don't want my child to be in that classroom for the first, I get it, in the first 5
So
years.
the
I
only,
mean, you know, I hear that and as a parent is, well, my child has one life of learning and I want that to be the best they can be. It's
Yeah.
not for a teacher to grow into it with my child, you know, in their training time. So I hate to be very selfish in that, but we have to be as.
no, I don't think it's about, you know, being selfish, but I also think that there are, you know, any person that's new that's coming into the craft, we can say that we don't want, you know, a new teacher. I don't know that that's necessarily a
That's not
bad
what I'm
thing to
saying.
say,
It's
but
not that.
because, you know, as a new teacher, I had many of folk that wanted to be in my classroom, because Mike was
You were fresh.
the new fresh person that was in the school. They were excited to be in my classroom. You know, so I think that part of that is how do we make sure that we're organized around the PL supports that we're providing our kids?
Exactly.
I mean, our teachers, so that they're prepared for our kids. So there are a certain set of expectations that we have here in the district. So any of our folks that go into our classrooms are receiving the training that we expect in terms of providing the few things that I talked about already tonight. It's around explicit instruction and how we're making sure that we're modeling clearly for kids, making sure that they have clear expectations for their learning, so that at the end of it, they're working independently and meeting the expectations of the standards. That's what our goal is, regardless of whether they are new or veteran. And, you know, some folks will also, on the other end of that, say that they're not sure that they really want to have a veteran person in front of them either, because maybe perhaps they, you know, they don't connect with their children too. So I think there can be arguments on either side of that space, but in the end, it's about making sure that we are doing the best that we can so that all of our teachers are ready to go come September.
Yep.
Is there a hiring freeze still going? Like, Or are they, like, if we needed teachers, are we able?
Oh, yes, yes, no,
Start
there's not,
hiring.
I mean,
I
it's
know, like,
not,
we
not-
raised
I
the-
can't imagine that if we need more, that we can put a freeze
Okay.
on.
May
No.
I just add to,
Sorry, Joe, did you want to?
you go ahead, ladies first.
There you go. Catherine, go for it.
All right. I think sometimes the new teachers are so eager to do well, and they're coming into this as a vocation, something that's really called them into teaching. I think that even though they don't have the experience of being an expert in the field, really get someone with a lot of enthusiasm who's there, who wants to do well, and who will then go above and beyond to do what the kids need in that room. And to learn what it is they need to learn in order to become an expert. So I think that it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be good bringing in a lot of new faces.
I can go now.
Yes,
I
John.
can only speak about the math teachers. Some of the student teachers are more effective than some of the older. Old time, well,
Well, 'cause
I
the
didn't
new way
have
is
any old timers left.
The way it's taught now.
What
it's
I meant
different.
is, they're like a sponge to absorb, right? And then when kids don't get it, I had a student teacher who came back really upset in the office, because the kid didn't get it. So I asked her, what is those? She said, I'm not sure, can we help you? I said, go speak to your, Clark teacher first. But that's. Most teachers don't do that, but many teachers who do that, and then some of the student teachers will do that. Some of them are really, really good. I offered them jobs, they went up to the island. I told them the Patrick.
No, I agree. I
Yeah,
mean,
there are
I've
some that
had,
are-
my
because
child has
they-
had teachers that are just very new and fresh and.
They put a
ones
heart
that are
into
very-
it. I've told them,
No,
some of them, you have to get some sleep.
completely.
They have to get some sleep, because
Yeah, listen, I think in the end, the biggest part of your question is an important one. It's making sure that we're preparing everyone to be in front of our kids. In the end, that's what it's about.
I'm actually questioning whether we could have those positions filled, because that seems to be the challenge I've seen in the schools that I've been involved with, we lose a language teacher and we can't find one,
So I think do think that there are specific roles that become a little bit more difficult than others. Certain licenses in general are harder.
Yep.
When you're thinking about things like language. Unfortunately, there's not this overabundance of certain license areas, but I do believe that, once we have a clear idea of the how many, we'll be able to make sure that our kids have teachers in front of them that are gonna be able to support their learning. That's certainly my goal. That's what I'm charged with, making sure that they can do that.
And you have a hiring fair coming up
Yeah,
in May.
hiring fair is coming up for the district. That's coordinated by our team to make sure that, that our
Taking a
folks
sense.
are clear and aware of who's out there and available. And, we are fortunate that, we have, I'll classify as an amazing district. So I think there will be a lot of willingness for folks to come aboard, to work here in District 25. The volume, I don't necessarily 100% know yet, but I do believe that will be okay.
more people are willing to come here than
well,
leaving
that's,
here.
yes, I.
Throughout my
agree with that.
career, I only have 3 teachers leaving. One got married, relocated to New Jersey, one got married, relocated to Texas. And the other ones, wait. Yeah, the other one just quit teaching altogether.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's necessarily that because we're District 25, that, we're the space where I'm gonna classify that you're better off here. That's not what I mean by that.
No, that's
I
not
just
what you
mean
said.
that we're just we're a good district. I would want to come here if I
Right,
was,
because you're the.
if I was a
superintendent.
teacher.
You're the superintendent.
I would
Okay, I'm
want-
not putting you next to him again next time.
There's gonna be a lot more coaches in the schools for the curriculums, for HMH, there's coaches that are coming into the schools all the time to make sure that the teachers are doing it and kind of administering it the right way, and then there's gonna be a new
Math curriculum, yes.
so there's gonna be coaches there for that, so there's gonna be a lot of extra PD and like people that are there to support the new staff and the old staff to get them acclimated and up to speed.
Yeah, and our
That's great.
team is really fantastic. We actually held a number of Saturday events where teachers came in for coaching with our team members, just because they wanted to get additional exposure to, best practice, so that is something that our team does. Aside from the coaching that comes in from outside, our team is, in my opinion, second to none. They do an amazing job of supporting the PL here in District 25, and they'll continue to do so. I'm fortunate that I do have a great team to help our schools move forward. So, but I understand the concern and the question.
And anybody on Zoom that wanted to speak? Arlene, did you want to say something? Looks like she's trying to unmute.
Yeah, she got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, listening to this, I'm going to go back so many years, perhaps far more than I should. This district, I could tell you when the immigration started to come into the district was in the early 1980s, and we had to deal with it. And after so many years of serving on a school board and seeing the change in the district, there was one teacher in one of the schools when technology became an issue and they started printing up big signs. They made up a sign for this district and it became history. And we hung it in that room that you're sitting in. And the sign said, "If you think you died and went to heaven, you're in District 25. Because that was the comment made by every teacher who came to this district, whether they were fresh, whether they were middle, whether they were senior teachers, but it's how the district worked and how it still works. The priority are the children. And that's the most important thing to always keep in your heart, in your head. The priority are the children. And at no time did we have more diversity than we have now. And we have so many different languages. Then we had 107 different languages and dialects in one school. So I know it's greater now. So keep your chin up. Your children will get through it. We all got through it. Our kids got through it. And some of them became very, very famous, very, very successful. And it happened in District 25. So I congratulate all of you. And remember, it's the best, one of the best districts. 25 and 26 stand out, always stood out, and will continue to stand out in this city. I'm more concerned about the demise of the board, the Department of Education, and how we're all going to try to keep up what we've been doing without the kind of help that we should be getting from them. So good luck. I'll always be here if you have any questions. I try to come to your meetings.
Thanks, Arlene.
Thank you, Arlene.
Is there anyone else that has their hand raised? Okay. Perfect. I want to make a motion.
I have one more thing to say.
Oh,
On Monday, coming April 7th, there's only 50 school days left until summer vacation.
I don't count the graduation.
Countdown to my house.
God, thank you, Karen. That's hard to believe, isn't it?
That's crazy.
Yeah. 50
Wow.
school days on Monday the 7th, that's it.
It certainly goes fast.
Yeah.
On that note. And Shirley, okay. Okay. Meeting adjourned at 8 o'clock. We'll take 5 and then we will go into our business meeting. If you have forms you need me to sign, please send them over to me. Joe, I need you to sign too.
Okay.
Okay, business meeting called to order at 8:08.
Yeah.
Egypt, do you want to call the roll call now this time? I can do it if you don't have it in front of you. Yeah.
It's not here. Joseph,
Here.
Grace, PR, Alvin,
Here.
Catherine,
Sure.
Shirley,
Here.
Shirley, who's that? Here.
Here.
Robert.
Here.
Here. Thank you. Okay, so first thing we need to talk about is the award ceremony. Egypt did send us a couple of links to look at for medals and things like that. So I wanted to talk about what we want to give this year specifically. And then I will take a look at the websites further, if anyone saw anything that stood out that they want to share, be good.
Tell me what the budget is again on that?
Well, so
Sorry.
we're gonna get to that in a
Sorry,
second.
okay.
He's got numbers, he's gonna go over in a second.
Alright.
They're not super expensive from what I was looking at, like it's doable, we'll still be under budget. He's gonna go over numbers, but we will be under.
Thank you.
But the other part of it is like, I wanted to get like the order in as soon as possible, so we make sure we get it in time, because this stuff obviously took longer than we expected. So we'd like to order ASAP. The second part of that is, do we have a form, Louis, to send out yet?
Yes.
Did we send it out yet? When do you usually send that out? So any day now,
June the 11th. Yeah, principals. I have June the 11th.
okay, so you'll start getting a list for us, okay. Can you share the pamphlet and the award things that you guys did for us last year with you? So we can get those things. Yeah, awesome. So those were my two things, because we didn't have help last year, so Louis and Mary helped. So this year we do have help, luckily. But our June meeting is the award ceremony, so we have one more meeting before then, so. Did anybody take a look at the site? Did anybody see anything that stood out?
I just want to make sure I just shared the right date. June 11th is the date. That's what I have in my calendar. I just want to make sure that that's right.
CEC website. That's right.
Yeah, I believe so, because I remember we moved it around
So I'm sorry, you said
at the beginning of the year.
Even, can I see the order? Yes. That's one.
And this one's supposed to be a water drop, by the
Oh,
way.
I don't have it anywhere.
The CEC website, which we're gonna talk about anyway, but if you look at the one on the district page, has the calendar on there.
It has
Your-
the correct calendar.
Yes,
Like
it has the most up-to-date calendar. Did anybody take a look at those links though, or didn't,
June the
I
11th.
tried, but
because I started clicking through,
Yeah.
but did you look at those? Okay.
ADHD brain kicked in and I was like, oh, what can I
It's okay.
start ordering
Did-
some of the things?
do we have-
For?
Do we have an option for school that you would recommend?
Last year, we did it at 194, which
Yep.
I thought was great. Their auditorium is brand new. We can ask Ms. Miller again, if you'd like. I feel like we always wind up going to 185. For
And I know
things,
we
so
need
maybe
to
we
change
wanna
schools too.
not necessarily do that.
Town hall.
We went
Yeah.
to
Use them just in September.
Yeah,
499 would here also.
we did 499. 499 is great too. All with auditoriums, air conditioning, so that you don't have to worry about the
Biggest
steamy.
thing in June.
Yeah, the steamy summer. So ones with air conditioning, 194 has air
Yeah, with
conditioning.
conditioning is good.
499 has air conditioning, which is always, a positive. 25 doesn't have, I don't know, does 25 have air conditioning? I know we've done it there before. It's always been,
The
relatively
WPS
cool.
highest one.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they.
So those are the places that we've usually done. Mostly because their auditoriums are spacious enough and, it will remain cool. So I can go to any of them. I'm sure any of the principals wouldn't mind to open their doors.
So what's the school that it's all the way up to 8th grade? Were the kids here from it tonight? 201, is that it? 200?
200 is,
Grades up.
200 is a K to 8.
K to 8, right?
The size of their auditorium is probably not necessarily as
Not big
big.
enough, okay.
250 I have to check. I think they were going for an auditorium upgrade. I have to see what the status is of those. But for me,
Just really
provided
like
that
different
there
schools.
are air conditioning, I think is really the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Just because it could be really, really hot and folks will be miserable. So I'll double check on 250 and 200.
Okay.
We can go to either of those two.
I just feel like we haven't gone to
Um,
either one of them.
yeah.
So like 194, 499, we've done, 185, we've done. So if we want to try to change it up, if they have the space to hold, it might be nice to give like,
189's auditorium, I have to think, does 189's auditorium have air in there? No, and plus the parking over there is not good.
They're under construction.
the public school.
Oh, 379 has more of a cafetorium. It's not really it's not an auditorium.
We did the event this, over the summer, remember?
Oh, the elementary
The
school,
elementary school.
129?
Yeah. How's their auditorium?
They have a big auditorium now. They do
They
have a
have
big
air conditioning? I
auditorium.
don't remember.
I do not believe so. Most of the schools aren't equipped with an auditorium that has air units that will keep it cool
It's
when you
on
have,
it's on a lot.
when you have 500 people. Say again?
It's on a
A
lot.
lot of the wish list,
Yeah, on the
yeah.
wish list,
Cool,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I know it's a big school also, that's why I was thinking.
Yeah, we can go through. I'll get you some schools
Okay.
within the next couple of days and.
Yeah, if
we
you
can
could send
choose
that-
from.
Then we could kind of choose a school, but
I mean, our principals are great. I mean, if I ask any of them, I don't see any of them saying that to be an issue unless there's some kind of construction that I'm not aware about right now that would prevent us from going in.
okay, awesome. So I think medals for the students, kind of simple, like,
Medal, are we gonna do the papers?
yeah, the certificate is gonna be for everybody.
The certificates, or they just print them? Like
We print them.
We print them.
We print them.
Yeah, we get the paper and we print them out.
Oh, we have to get the paper.
You have the
We don't
template and
put
everything.
the thing through the thing. Okay, yeah.
Um,
Purchase.
Our logo, like, District 20.
that could be for the teachers. You can show everyone what you're looking at. So Shirley's looking at like this little notebook. It's like similar to this, but where you have a pen attached.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar.
See, we use that at least, you right?
It's the exact same thing. So it's something like that for the
And
teachers.
then we have a District 25 logo and on the bottom CC 25.
I think it would be something useful. I do like that idea.
Something that they could actually use,
I mean, I have tons of these from work and I think it's definitely
In old
useful.
ways.
Which site are you on that one?
The first one,
For imprint?
4 imprints. I think they're.
Yeah, that's why we had the list from. Okay, and then did we decide on our Joe Kessler award?
Oh, we didn't.
Did we do a group text or email chain on it? I haven't seen one.
No, I didn't see.
No, but I can create one. Tomorrow morning?
Nominations before, and you did mention a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of them.
Because last time we nominated after we sent to give to Joe.
Right. Wasn't there another name we threw out there? There was a second name that we had thrown out there.
You did. I don't remember who it was though. It wasn't someone that I mentioned. I think one of you guys mentioned it. I don't know who it was. I know the one that you just said, but.
Yeah, I know that one, but there was definitely another name. I have to look back. Is that where the person was? Oh, it was, yeah.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Or,
Mhm.
I don't know the district, do we ever nominate? Diane? to the
Diana signed
wellness?
it last
Last
year.
year.
Last year. How
Yeah.
about, what her name? was?
Melinda,
Soapbox, yes.
Melinda?
she got it before?
No.
But she's doing really great for the soapbox. I mean, these kids are really like.
Yeah, no, she, the only thing, I don't know if you want to keep having her.
Different team.
That's true.
That's why I like, Esther's not here with us anymore, and I know we talked about her last year, but I really do like the teacher from 242. She's involved with U of T stuff, she's involved in like, she comes, she gets very like hands-on involved. Joe, this is for you also.
Yeah. No, we're not.
Okay, so we can say it out loud.
No, I just said,
Yes, here's here, that,
I don't wanna say tail at her. 'Cause she's
I don't know who that was, but I was signing.
so the only thing I said around the Joe Kessler Award is that there have been a number of folks that
From the
have been
District
from the
25
district
team.
team. And I don't want it to be
No,
kind of quote unquote a district award. It's not just about. the
we
district
wanna
team
like
members.
recognize other people.
Are there other people that you would want to recognize other than just
So I think
district
if
team
we're-
members? I don't want it
Well,
to be.
that's why I
The
think.
Joe Kessler Award means that you were on the district team and that's why you're getting an award, you know?
Do we ever nominate Joe?
We're looking at people who are.
He's gotten it. That's how it became.
Oh.
I mean,
He was the first,
Like, that's how we should get
I can certainly ask our building leaders if they feel like there's someone that's really reflecting this idea of sportsmanship and service, because that's really what the Joe Kessler Award was about.
I think
You know, we
knowing
can reach out to
the
our
one we
building
said,
leaders
I
and
think that would be the person from that school whose name's gonna come up right away.
Would be Omar. He's been involved with. U of T.
Oh.
you can certainly
Lamar.
connect with Lamar and ask him.
No,
if
she's
he's
saying
got-
would Lamar be
You're
somebody
right, a candidate.
to be a candidate?
Because he's promoting a lot of sports event.
for the teachers and, but not heavily involved with the students. But
Yeah.
that's why I was like,
That's why, like. Going off of what Dr. Mike was saying
Yes,
about like
I
the
get
district
perfect.
team. That's why I kind of like the idea of the teacher that we were talking about from 242. I don't know, a lot of people don't know her as well, like I've gotten to know her, my son was in that school at one point for a year in kindergarten. And I got to know her then, and I've gotten to know her a lot more since then. And she's very, very involved with the students, with the U of T. She comes to our meetings all the time. Like, she's very hands-on and very involved in she's always trying to get more kids to apply for the school, because you have to apply to that school, like, and go through a whole process. I think she's just a really all-around great candidate. But if we want to reach out to the schools and see if there's anybody they recommend, we would have to just kind of do it quick.
Mhm.
Because we have to kind of know by the next meeting for sure who we're gonna go with.
can't you just reach out to them?
We would have to give her like the description of the award.
I mean, we
Yeah,
certainly
we have the
don't know that.
description.
We know such, we know.
You guys
this
wouldn't
many,
really know
We
them,
know such a
but-
small percentage of people in the
Yeah,
district
that's
that
what-
we would
would it
have.
be-
Would it be
Yeah.
better for
You
you?
had
Principals,
Yeah.
today, at least one.
Who's the
As long as you keep me on it, it's
quality
fine.
in your
Okay.
school that you
Let
would
someone lead.
nominate for.
Both.
That's why you can hear what we're saying.
We're kind of
We're like,
whispering.
we're mentioning your name. So I'm like, maybe you should come this way. So we're talking about sending something out to possibly building leaders to see if they have anyone in mind for this award, but we want to make sure the description of the award is there. So Dr. Mike said he'd make sure the description is there, but have you kind of get it out to them, but we want to get a quick turnaround on it. For feedback, so that we could then make a vote at the next meeting and be like finalized on who it is.
You guys did that.
Well, we have to consider there's only 1 week of school before Easter break, and that's a whole week off. And so when do we want it then? Do we want it before the Easter break? Because then we're only giving them a week to get it to us. We want it by the Friday of.
I think
The Friday.
Our meeting is May 7th, so
One of the things that
May
I
2nd?
would say that maybe we could also consider, is we do have a lot of district sports teams now,
Yeah.
with a lot of really great coaches. That's the spirit of all of this, is promoting this idea of sportsmanship and service to the community, and they've done a really great job with our kids, and whether it's elementary school basketball league or the cheerleading teams, which we have a cheer expo, and I'm so mad at myself that I didn't include it in my
is there any
slides.
specific ones that
Um,
stand out to you though?
We have, a number of them are great. I mean, we have a number of them that are really terrific,
So if
that
you
I
give
can
us
connect with
some
Diana on, so that it
candidates, then
reduces the pool of
Yeah.
folks that you're thinking about.
Maybe you could
Um,
see if Diana has like any specific
that have just kind
coach
of,
from one of the
that have
teams.
kind of just put themselves out there and gone above and
Be
beyond for
different than
kids.
just sticking with like a,
Can I just say something? Because we don't have like that much time to consider the candidates. I would say if we did decide with Esther last year, but because we gave it to Joe, if we give it to Esther this year, how many members here would want to give it to Esther this year?
I didn't know her, so whatever everybody goes.
I can go either way.
She's the lady who said, you said, hey,
Because I feel that,
she used to sit over there.
you know, and I'm just saying on my behalf now,
Translate for Spanish.
most of us that,
Hold
you
on.
know,
You should go out there.
Guys, listen to Alvin for a second.
most of us that have worked with Esther knows how dedicated she is with the CEC. I know that sportsmanship is because of Joe Kessler, is his name, is his award, and how dedicated he was to promote, you know, public school, UFT. And even the teacher from 242, I totally agree that she is really deserving of it. But not that many members here really know her. I feel that Esther, because a majority of us have worked with her, I think that I think she should serve for this year.
Yeah, let's vote on that then.
Is everyone comfortable voting
I don't
yes
know.
or no
I-
there,
I-
or you guys
I-
want
I think
additional
it'll be- I think
names?
it'll be nice to hear additional names, because I think it has, I think. I think just like we was just said, it's only gone to district people so far. It's only gone to people from the district office so far, and it is. But that's because that's all we know, right? We should take in other candidates and put them all up to listen,
Well,
like their story.
Shirley just said,
Yeah.
kind of mentioned something that
Yeah.
I'm
sorry.
wondering if we could
create one more award.
create like
Education award
like
for Esther.
something like some kind of an award that we want, like, if we don't want to necessarily choose her for this, ask her to come and recognize her for all she had done
Right.
in another way with another type of award, like a recognition.
90% of the people are already voting for Esther without having the other names.
Right, we don't have it, yeah.
So I mean, is anyone open to doing like that, like a recognition for her
Yeah.
of some sort, and then looking at another person for
Yes,
the Joe Kessler Award? Any feedback?
what do you think? Cause I noticed that Joe Castler
It's
is
just an
mainly
idea that's out there.
sportsmanship related, heavily
Because-
involved, so.
Right now, we're in April. June 11th is right around the corner. If you minus all the school holidays and
It's
also.
the meeting after this one. It's the.
That's why I need to know
Because
before the
it's-
next meeting.
Time is
Yeah.
not really like, we have a lot of time. If we're gonna consider a lot of like suggestions, like from the district and give the names, we don't even know these people.
When
Most of
we
them.
have to order.
DC set up
By in order for us to receive.
Immediately.
this, Because the name.
But how many names are we gonna get? And then among those names, how are we gonna sort out
Another
which
thing
one?
is, Joe Castler, we give out a plate award.
Yeah.
And it takes time
To
for them to
make
put
it and
the
order
name.
it, yeah.
We also have to think about that too.
Oh, no.
Very
This
quick.
took how
It's not
long?
Amazon, definitely, you know.
February 28th, but I'm trying to go back to when we were talking back and forth.
We should have.
It was definitely at the February meeting, we started talking about it at the
Like
February
2
meeting,
months
to make sure we
behind.
order in time.
Or maybe like teachers that have like PE classes in the schools, just bring their names out and then maybe get like consensus.
Yeah, I mean, I know, my kid's teacher, Coach Bashar, so I'd put him forward, but I don't know if anyone else would know him or what, how are you gonna get to know him? I mean, how?
Right, we all know like the person at our school, and yet we're not really here to represent our school specifically.
Right, so, and then how are you gonna vote? How are you gonna know Bashar is a good guy, a bad guy, or whatever,
I think what Dr. Mike told us from our district sports team coach, maybe we should kind of hear their
Sent
brief
the message out, right?
description.
Dr. Mike sent the message out already.
Yeah, and then maybe
He's
we
got it
could-
for us.
and then maybe we could vote. How's that?
Moving forward, this is just a suggestion because Dr. May has this wellness program. I think this would be a good way that,
Mhm.
for future
Yeah.
CECs, if we set the Joe Kessler Award, is to like really move that wellness program and, just
Yeah. it's a
Get to
big
know.
benefit, right?
Yeah,
the teachers that are involved in sports.
yeah, so
Have
from the coaches. And then
So
we'll
they
make,
show up for the wellness.
and we could make
Exactly.
another, some dedication for Esther. I definitely agree with you, because we work with Esther. She
Right.
Yeah.
dedicated a lot of her
Well,
time.
what
She's
what
always
type of recognition
that we have.
we can give her? If
So-
you-
So Diana is going to give me a list tomorrow of folks that she thinks would represent that award well, along with a blurb explaining a little bit about them for you guys to reflect on.
Oh, she'll have it to you right
I
away?
mean, yes,
Tomorrow.
it could be
Tomorrow.
CEC, like-
But here's the problem,
What?
voting.
Can we do email thread?
Yeah, so this is not really a vote per se, it's more of an agreement. So you
Okay.
guys-
Let's do the email thread, yeah.
Can I do like a zone further?
That, where is that?
I could create a check-in where you could discuss your award ceremony.
So
date.
we
Who's
set a check-in
available?
sometime for like next week.
Who's
What's the
available?
best day and time for everybody next week for a check-in? With,
There's
we'll call it a check-in.
Okay, then.
Thank you. I'm like, there we go, we're finding ways.
What day is the cheer expo?
Cheer Expo is next week
Monday?
on,
The 7th?
it's on
Your
Tuesday,
daughter has that, right?
Wednesday, Friday. Hold on, I could be lying, hold on. It's
I-
it's either Tuesday, Friday, or Wednesday, Friday.
What about Wednesday the 9th? Cause I know we've got Wednesdays.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, oh, those are all
But
Friday.
Thursday, no, Thursday is the rain day. So.
What does Wednesday look like for everyone time-wise during the day?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a specific time that stands out?
The only day, the only
Middle school
time
offers games.
I could maybe make it is
Wednesday,
maybe like,
nine.
I'm in arbitration all week, so my week's bad,
Oh,
but
God.
maybe during lunch I could just.
Good
We
question.
try to aim for. like
If
a-
we do get the names by tomorrow, can we do it Friday or not this week Friday? Too early?
If people are available to jump on Friday.
Cause I just wanna make sure that.
Are you in the
we
office Friday?
Put the order in fast,
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
cause we wanna put the order fast.
yeah,
I could do Friday.
Friday,
Friday,
are
just
you,
the Friday.
is lunchtime ideal for everyone, like
Sure.
12-ish?
So you're gonna forward us the thing, we're gonna read it and
Yeah,
then
Diana-
we're gonna zoom. to the
Yeah.
call?
Diana's gonna,
Okay.
so one thing about Diana, she knows these folks really well, just because she's been organizing and calibrating, collaborating, all of those things with all of the different programs that we offer. So she's gonna give a recommendation of a handful of them with a blurb around the things that they've done in their schools and for the district to
We'll need
promote,
that also.
you know, sportsmanship, service and so on, alignment with the award.
Okay, so Friday at 12 PM, we'll do a check-in. I'm gonna look through the medals a little bit further. I like the notebook idea for the teachers. I don't know if anyone else has any different ideas there, but I'll look at some of the medals so that day I could share my screen. We can hopefully make a decision and then get that to Egypt so we can get the order in.
What time, 12 o'clock?
12 PM.
So we're looking at the list on Friday in
How much
addition
is-
to considering.
So,
Esther,
so
right?
Maribel, you
I
gonna say?
think-
So,
that-
Esther,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think we're opposed, I'm not opposed to Esther, she sounds like an amazing person, but. If we look at the list and we still feel Esther is the person, she would still get the joke.
We could
Esther. Is
still,
that
yeah,
the
we could
intent?
still go that way if we feel that
Or
at
is
that
the
point.
intent that Esther is completely out of the race and.
No, I don't think
they're
she's
going-
out, but I think it's,
Both way, if
Okay.
we like.
want a chance to look at them
Make
all.
sure
Yeah.
what we're doing on Friday, right?
Yeah, so keep comparing and there'll be like one of the quotes that we pick.
So in that, can we also have Esther stuff? Esther stuff in the
yeah,
names?
Yeah.
I miss
I'll-
Esther,
I'll
so
come up with something.
It's easier for me to read.
I'll write up something or if you want to send me something.
Please.
Okay, so moving on from that, which we'll touch base Friday, we're gonna move to Joe's treasurer report. Which will answer the budget question.
I forgot my question.
Catherine wanted to know like what budget we had.
How much
Okay.
money was available, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this month we have, like last month, I have $0 left in equipment to get a nice computer for Egypt. We spent $6,050 for reimbursement. We have $4,950 left for reimbursement. Meeting expenses, we spent $2,363, and that leaves us a balance of $5,399. We had P card, we spent $0 on the P card, we still have $500 left. We gotta figure out a way to spend it quickly. We had $3,870 at the beginning for supplies. We spent $1,340. That leaves us a balance of $2,530. We spent $90 on repair, so we now have a zero balance. So better make sure nothing breaks. Or nothing else breaks.
Otherwise, you
So,
have to buy a new
Let's just
one.
say we have more than enough to take from where we need.
It comes from the meeting expenses and the P card and the supplies.
Yeah,
Okay.
Use kind of, the P card is like, more limited, so it's like small items.
yeah,
So like maybe a case of water to get with a P card.
Oh, okay.
Some like couple supplies.
maybe some like, I'm sorry. But no, we definitely have more than enough budget wise to
Okay.
pull from. So I think we're good there. So thank you, Joe. Now, I know this was supposed to be on the calendar last month. I don't know how far you guys got in this conversation, but we do need to update our bylaws.
We didn't get anywhere.
Okay,
We didn't have a forum.
okay. Who is willing to step up and be on a committee
No.
to help write the bylaws?
I didn't ever take. the
Yes,
second.
Alvin, I kind of tasked with this.
Did you assign him as the chair?
Yes, I kind of assigned Alvin to kind of take lead on this.
I like to look at it.
And you have Ismat who just volunteered.
Great.
So you guys can connect, however, do you have one other person that wants to jump in there?
I mean, I can help, but I don't know about it.
Okay,
Well, yeah, I need some lawyer advice.
Joe, do you have time to do this? Work on the bylaws with them?
Yeah.
Do you have free time?
Free time.
No.
She said no.
I'm busier now
We will
than when I
never
was
finish
working.
the bylaws.
My colleagues used to say they didn't know how I managed the house and school.
So we'll leave it with the two of you
Yeah,
guys for
we'll
now.
never finish the bylaws.
Well,
You
just-
always
so
very
there's three.
interesting.
John will help out where,
I don't
when he's
speak
able
enough
to.
languages to be working with.
Oh my God, enough languages. So I do have a copy, I found,
Imagine that. You never-
of our
speak
most recent one. I,
language you
before
speak.
you leave, just touch base and make sure I have something.
Sure. Okay.
Second, so moving away from that, we have our people that are gonna kind of work on that, then you guys can present it and we'll go from there. The next thing is the website. We actually were talking about this before the meeting earlier, Louis, Egypt and Louis started teaching Egypt how to use the Google pages. So I think we're gonna be on the right track to not having to pay for a domain.
Is that female now? Yeah, everyone starts to sit over your head.
Okay, Louis.
And I have access to it as well, so I will be working with Egypt on it. So that project I'll take kind of,
Don't worry, we're working for it.
yeah. We're working on it because we need that website up and running in order to technically have hybrid meetings. So I'll take that on with Egypt, as a separate project. And there was one other thing, so,
Website.
no, I did the website. It was something I just thought of. That,
Is it related to website?
no,
Is it related to committees?
no, okay. I don't have anything else then for now until I remember and then whatever. But does anybody have any other new business?
I just want to make a suggestion.
Yes,
Moving forward, if we can have some meetings that's gonna be more focused middle school and high school. Cause I know a lot of kids, District 25, when they're going to middle school, it's that time of, they're anxious. on-
what do you
you
mean
know-
by that? Because
You mean the next calendar meeting?
Well, no, I'm just saying like in the future, like, for all CEC meetings of District 25. Maybe have like one meeting during the whole year, just to talk about middle school and high school.
You're talking about like the transition for elementary school to middle school and the
Somebody that can speak
transition
to
for.
that.
And also,
For next one.
with class size, I know now with high schools. Francis Lewis, it's like, it's a big number. I don't know if they're getting their, seats. But I know that that's more of CCHS, right? And not really the individual councils, but I figure that, maybe we get.
I mean, I think in general, conversation around transition to middle and transition to high school is an important one. For families, I know it's always a space of anxiety that comes up for just the application process in and of itself always gets folks nervous. I know we did do that this year at some point. We did have someone come to talk to you guys as a CEC about that. That we can always do, but if there's something really specific around transition, we can always bring people in to help support that. I know it's always concerned. Mostly from our parents and less from kids. Kids, once they get in there, they know their thing. And parents are really nervous on the outside. Kids wind up making it through. I always joke that I always knew when my new sixth graders were in my school because they were walking one direction, backtracking, going the other direction, wrong hall, this hall, wrong classroom, and you always knew who they were the first day or two. But after that, it was like smooth sailing. They didn't need anyone after the first day or two.
For the parents.
Yeah.
I think that's also
Because,
pretty important in too.
Yeah.
They're coming to hear
Me
about
as a
it.
parent, I.
Just
did not have
preparation in
a-
terms of transition from one grade to the
Yeah, I
next. Yeah.
didn't have a very good experience when my daughter started sixth grade at District 25. I had find my way around pages 189.
Mhm.
I made my place 3 years now, but like you say, that not all parents will take the 3 extra steps. So, yeah, I think it's more for parents.
Yeah, listen, you identify what it is that you're looking for and we can organize supports
It is,
for it.
yes.
You got to do that early in the year.
Is there anything else?
Even the beginning even before this, maybe as a lead in to the start, I mean, I know we tend to have an August meeting, but I know not many people will come
The
Right.
problem in
for an
20
August
usually in
meeting.
December, we don't have
That's
any.
usually the best time to start the year off, but.
I think
Council has a specialized
like
type of
anything that's
campaign.
going into middle
That's your-
school, I think if there's
They're
would be
also
one
talking
date
about the one day
across the,
They only get like 500 students.
right,
High
like a
school.
month or
You're talking about,
a
high
month
school for- I
prior
say
to
your
them
college?
starting
Yeah.
middle school, or a month
Because
prior
they-
to them
that's
starting
special-
high
that's
school. If
special.
there's one
They-
dedicated
they
date
want to
from
focus
DOE that
more
says
students so they can take the most students.
this
So
is
they're not taking-
the orientation
They
for
won't be taking the
parents and
students, well,
students.
the
You-
student
that's
will
the day
taking out
that
of
you're
us,
gonna go
the local
in,
school
say
could
hello.
use.
So I don't know necessarily that we have to
Even though they're
mandate a
specialized,
day, specific date, because what our schools, what our schools do offer,
I think they're getting.
is a space of orientation. They
I have
all
no idea.
create an opportunity for incoming six.
So that's
the
all
issue
company-
to hear that.
Is
You know,
as a new
Well,
parent, that school doesn't have my email address.
Mhm.
I speak from personal experience. I had to call and hang out at JHS 189 just to find out when can I speak to somebody and find out where I'm going. Only then to find out that they actually had something for parents. But the mass email or whatever, I did not get to it because I was still not part of the email community for JHS 189. So maybe if the schools have it, the communication is broken. Especially as a new parent, I speak from experience.
Mm.
So I don't know, this is something to look at.
Which school was this?
Which year?
Which school?
JHS 189.
189?
Yes, that's where my daughter was.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think all of it's offered. I can't speak to individual experiences and how one got information versus another. Schools do offer it. What we can look at is how do we make sure that it's publicized well enough for all those that need to know, from our elementary schools going into the middle. I liken even technology today to what's becoming the new bottom of the school bag. Is now what we see in the emails, the countless emails that we have, and sometimes they're ones that we don't necessarily always receive. I know it myself, just as a dad, my own kids and the messages that come from school. Sometimes I'm so beyond thankful that my wife does a better job than me of looking at all of the things that do come in. So I think it's creating multiple ways of making sure that the information is accessible to ensure that there is access to it. So, but that's something that we can talk about. But all of our schools do create orientation opportunities for families so that they know what's going on the next year. But if it's a communication thing, then we can work on that.
Because their website wasn't working. I don't think it's working now. either, but-
I can share with you what my school used to do. They get like what is it called, list notice with his name, email address and all that. They send an email to that email address. But the problem is, some of them don't read English, and some have some of their friends' email address because they don't speak English. Because the friend doesn't tell them.
So I'll give you an example of what one of the schools did. That was actually quite a hit, and I'm hoping others wind up picking up on it. But one of them called it Popsicles in the Park, and all of the kids, all of the new coming kids were invited to have an ice pop. You got to come and meet all of the variety of teachers. They had all kinds of activities and events in the schoolyard. It served as an entry into the building so families can get to know who the building leaders were, who the teachers were. And more importantly, just gives you a good feel of community. So there's a range of those types of things.
They do have a back.
And he did a carnival. He does carnivals, yeah.
Every year. However, that was not communicated to the new parents of the sixth grade. So I joined PTA specifically to make sure that the other parents don't go through that. And it's helped, but I'm saying, for me, when I had to go in sixth grade, I did not have that opportunity.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Because that
Yeah.
was not communicated on their website.
Mhm.
There was no mass email that went out. I receive all my emails and I look at them. There was no mass email. There was no information on the New York City school website. Like they have it now with high schools, whatever. You go on there, they'll tell you there is, when the open houses are there, it's on the calendar. It wasn't there.
Yeah, so those
maybe
are
they
things
should
that we can even
communicate it
share
better.
here when they're hosting them. And make it available in a variety of different ways. So what my point to you is that one way doesn't always work either. You know, so it's making that sure that there is a variety of different entry points for it. Yeah.
Is there a requirement for schools to like keep up on, like, keep a social media, or like a Instagram or, cause I know like our elementary school does a great job with it. I wish our middle school
I know,
would
right?
do more. I mean, I think that, you know,
No, there's not a social media requirement
No.
that they have to have. But having said that, is it something that could be brought up to schools and say, how do we build upon this? 100%.
yeah, I find out a lot
Yeah.
about what's happening in other schools from.
From the social media.
Yeah,
accounts,
from
Yeah,
social
That-
media.
I mean, I just pointed out back to Mike, actually, PS 79 got Tuberlos.
to Robo.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Turbo.
Yeah, no.
And it was a whole big deal, like they made an Instagram post about it,
Yeah,
so.
they had a whole, they have a turbo in every room, 79, but that's how you got the job there,
Mhm.
from social media.
Yep.
Like, I sent it to my teacher friends.
Yeah.
Mr. 35.
Yes,
Right.
please. Let them all come. But yeah, no, there's not necessarily a requirement. There are guidelines, but not a requirement that you must have.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know it's hard, because there's a lot to, you really need like to hire someone to do
To
it.
manage
It
it.
could really be a full-time.
Yeah.
Thing to get all that information out. And some of the schools are just so like our elementary school is so creative. with
Yeah.
What they're doing, and I'm like, and I know 79 is really creative.
Yeah.
with their social media output too.
Well, I think some of that also becomes a space of a competitive fun amongst
Yeah.
principals
Okay,
when
yeah,
one person's posting something, they want to be able to,
right.
add in the fun.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, there's not necessarily a requirement, but I do think that when it's limited and you believe like it should be more, that's a real space for conversation at SLT, school level.
yeah.
100%. Some are very much better at it than others. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no, but it's fun when they're good at it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So the other thing that I wanted to bring up in new business is we did have our CEC election candidate forum during the President's Council meeting. And we have 32 candidates, only 12, I think, were actually on. 4 of us being in the room right now. But elections are starting soon, so just share the word out to everybody so that we get more people to vote this year. And tell them to go on and like look at the forums, listen to what people said. There were some really great people, I feel like, that I really enjoyed hearing what they had to say.
You were there,
And it was
yeah.
just like, it was new voices, like from different schools all over the district, and. I mean, we're losing more than half the people at least right now, and hopefully some of us will be returning, but. We don't know what the election's gonna bring, so really getting the word out there, I think, is crucial. So that we can kind of.
And one of our schools will be hosting kind of an event to encourage the folks in the community to get out there and vote. Which will be held at PS 32. I don't remember the date off the top. Did Jenny share that date with you? So it's kind of like a CEC voting party kind of thing to encourage families from the community to come in and participate. That I can share with you. It's the date is not ringing in my head right now for some reason, but something to make it a little bit enjoyable, get as many people out to vote as possible. Because it's important. Parent voice is really important, so.
With the first week. Yeah, December 4th. I just found it. Does anybody else have any other new business? Because I can't remember the other item that I had. Thanks, Em. There you go, Dr. Mike. She's so funny. Okay, so we will do our check-in Friday at 12, so we can hopefully look at these names, make a decision. I was just talking to Shirley, she's gonna take a look at the medals and the plaques and things like that, to kind of help us narrow it down. While I'm helping Egypt work on the website, and then we have our bylaws group working as well, so we can kind of hopefully tackle all of this before the year ends and before the term is up and we don't have everyone here.
So I haven't discussed it with my partner.
Yes.
For bylaws, but I'm assuming that he will have the same thought.
I have the
If
template for
everybody
you.
can read, and if something stands out to the rest of the team that you would like us to take a close
Well,
look at.
so the
please
one
give
thing
us
that I will
suggestions.
say is we have to talk about hybrid meetings.
Already written down, but apart from the hybrid
Yeah.
meetings, if there's anything else in the bylaws that we should closely take a look at, please let us
Was it
know,
quorum one
and then
case
we will.
we were talking about for the bylaws?
Form in which was fine.
The number between in-person and like hybrid and things like that?
So there always needs to be 7 in person. In order for the person who's online to be able to join.
We need to make sure it states that correctly.
The question is that you want to state there is why are people joining virtually?
Right. Actually, that brings up what I was gonna do. I remember now what I had to do.
The expectation is that all members come in person unless there is extenuating circumstances.
And what the circumstances would be that we're gonna
That's
be
what
okay with.
That's
right?
what we need to come up with.
Okay.
I mean.
Okay.
But with that brings up the other item that I did want to bring up, because one thing you guys weren't able to vote on last month is these extenuating circumstances for the fact that Ismat was not here due to a religious observance. I was not here because I was in tech week for a show. So stop them. We need to actually stop. Not now. We need to actually vote to approve them as approved absences going forward. So anytime that somebody's gonna be absent, we do have to make that vote. So I'm just gonna do for both of us all at once, rather than make you guys vote twice. So if you could just call everyone's name out, so we can get you could just make a column on that. Just so we can get it approved and put in writing that we were approved or not approved for the excused absence.
Great. No,
Yes,
you approve or deny the
I mean, like, of me and Ismat.
Can we see the note again for your mother?
I can show you the pictures from the show.
Alvin?
Is there abstain for this? No, the reason I'm saying this is because we're doing the bylaws, right?
Yes.
So if we do a vote tonight, then the bylaws is gonna be a problem moving forward. If we're gonna change the template on the bylaws,
Yeah.
I think then
That's-
we should
Yes,
do the.
I agree.
Because if we do something tonight, it's gonna be hard for the bylaws
Then
to
it's-
be.
No, because the bylaws are gonna take effect after that, so that's not gonna have any effect on it.
So what do your current bylaws say for absentee?
Six hours prior notice. There shall be no proxy or absentee voting. President or secretary needs to be notified. That says any member who fails to attend 3 meetings. Can be vacating their spot, which we've run into previously. Excuses for absence, death of a relative, funeral, serious illness or injury, mandatory court attendance, jury duty, military duty, job-related conflict. But it doesn't say anything further.
So what you would do is vote on the absence in accordance with these bylaws. And these bylaws state like the reasons for the absences, right? So if you want to vote on those now, if your absences are not in accordance with one of those stipulations, then they're considered unexcused. If you want to wait until you amend your bylaws and vote on your absences to make sure you're including what you want to the code, you missed because you had a family obligation, right? I don't know if that's included in the bylaws or not. I didn't hear that.
No, neither was religion.
Either was,
Yeah.
so then,
But
Yeah, which religious observance, obviously there should never be
I-
a question in my
I
opinion.
propose that,
If it's in the
I'm just
bylaws,
giving
why
you
do we
two-
have to vote whether we approve or not?
because it's not in the bylaws. So what happens
That's
is,
what
if
voting with not, okay.
you have, if any member misses three meetings with, and they're not excused absences, you can remove them from the council.
Oh, so we're saying we excuse you
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
not specifically noted as an excuse in the
That's the
bylaws.
vote.
Okay.
You get me,
Okay.
Alvin?
So.
yes,
Because they're making, but I want
Yes.
to go
Okay.
a bit further.
Wait, so
Even if it is in the bylaws, you still have to vote and say, yes,
Why?
this is in the bylaws, so it's approved.
Why? The bylaws didn't say that.
The
bylaws don't
the
say that.
bylaws say that you have to vote on the absences, and if it's one of these reasons, then you can go approve. If it's not one of these.
Oh, it
reasons,
does? I don't remember that.
It doesn't,
For it.
yeah.
it says there should be no proxy or absentee voting,
It doesn't say we have to
Right.
vote.
but there's nothing actually saying about voting on the absences.
That's probably the next.
That I have in my bag also, but,
Cause if we have to vote on, I was absent too. But I don't think we have to vote on it.
but you emailed with notice about a work conflict,
Right, but that's, she's saying you have to, even if it's included.
which I forgot you were the other one.
So then it should be an approved absence, so they should all vote, yes, it's approved.
Yeah, I know, but yeah.
I understand what you're saying, like, what's the need to vote if it's already in there, so it should just.
And we got the
Yeah.
notice of the
Yeah,
6 hours
yeah.
notice, like more than,
Yeah.
like I gave a month notice, like, hey, I'm not gonna be here, this, like, we knew, like, way in advance for these people, so I think that's where the questions really come in.
But, so I don't think we need to vote, but for like, you know, for the purpose of time, I think it's faster to just vote than to look through the bylaws right now.
Yes.
Right, but I'll pull it up in the manual while you guys, just so I can show you, but, it's a procedural thing, right? It's parliamentary procedure that you have to vote on absences. If it's in the bylaws, you should vote yes, you shouldn't vote no. If someone votes no, then you can have a debate about why they're voting no, if it's in the bylaws.
So we should put in the new bylaws, we don't have to vote. But seriously, if it's in the bylaws.
That as long as it's given, there is no vote.
My suggestion to.
No, so you're right, though.
Is
that-
that situations like these, like what they're giving us, doesn't make sense. Each member is given 24 months of their time to come to these meetings. They're at least allowed 2 out of 2 years. If they're not even allowed 2 years just to go on hybrid, then what's the point of getting parents to come to CEC?
That's why we're doing the bylaws.
That's why we're doing the bylaws, we're changing it.
Yeah.
But
But-
we're gonna vote on it right now. It means that we're saying that it's fine what they're saying in the previous bylaws, because we're changing it
But
anyway.
what we do now is not gonna affect the new bylaws. It has no effect on what we do in the future. So in the future, we could say, hey, as long as they gave notice in this excused time frame and it's a legit excused absence, we don't need to vote on that. Like, that could be the wording that we put in there. But that has no effect on the voting now. If you're making,
That's what you're-
that's what it technically does. So it has no effect on what changes you make to the bylaws, because once you're done writing things, you're gonna bring it back to us and we're gonna all vote to approve the bylaws at that point, hopefully. But it doesn't make any effect on the voting tonight.
John.
I vote to approve my application.
Well, he said yes, I said yes.
So I found
Yes.
the manual.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
Shirley,
Yes.
Yes.
Shirley, two times.
He's like,
You're not voting on that.
Okay.
"Aw."
You didn't say grace.
Great, I didn't agree, right?
Yeah, that's
correct.
Yeah.
So I'll approve it.
That's.
Okay. Well, Maribel's gonna read us something real quick, and then we can get them.
Special vote for minutes. We do not need to vote on minutes.
No, I was
Giving
looking for
opportunity for
word.
last minute corrections, the chair. should
I got a
simply
couple of
state,
them already. 'Cause we-
If there are no further corrections,
I
the
got it.
minutes are
I gotta share with
and
everybody.
distributed as correct.
Got it.
So you're not really voting on the minutes. If someone notices something's wrong, minutes are approved because it doesn't correction. So it's not really like.
You've been taking our votes for minutes.
Seriously, I was taking votes, so, because I was told I had to do this. Darn it. Can we make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, please.
Who was it, Bob?
Let's go.
I second.
And Alvin,
Gavel.
Okay, I
8:57.
I just saw the thing. I was searching.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I'm gonna follow up. You'll see a couple of follow-ups from me, one about the
Alvin, don't leave.